the Eagles' issues are behind them, or is it just nice to play the Raiders?
Look, it was what I wanted to see, right? Blow them out. They're a terrible team. Knicks Raiders are horrible.
They're horrible.
They stink.
31-0.
So they did what they were supposed to do, and everything looked good. The run game was okay. Jalen looked great. AJ got his touchdown. Devontae looked good. But, of course, it was the Raiders, so we're not sure. Let's see what they do. You don't have to beat the Commanders 31-0, but another impressive performance against them would be fine. The bottom line is Jalen Hurts is right. Like, this dude, nothing's going to faze him. I don't care if all his receivers are mouthing off saying he's not good. I mean, this dude got benched at Alabama, goes to Oklahoma, makes it work. Second-round pick. Nobody thinks he's a starter in this league. Gets to 2 Super Bowls. Outplays the best player in the league, Mahomes. Like, he is not going to be fazed by anything, and I think that's a positive for the Eagles. Now, I have not picked them to get to the Super Bowl this year. I didn't at the beginning of the season. But they are alive. Like, there's no world beater in the whole league. Forget just the AFC, the league. You can't tell me they can't play with the Rams. They beat the Rams already. And I get it was early in the season, but still, they beat the Rams. They can't play with Seattle. They can't play with San Francisco. Sure. I mean, Green Bay, now that they're diminished, like, they can beat anybody. Whether they do or not remains to be seen. But they are right there with anybody else in the league.
I'm not convinced yet that their issues are in the past, a thing of the past. I'm not convinced, and largely because they faced no resistance this past week. And they won't until we see them play against the Buffalo Bills, a team that's remaining on their schedule that has something to play for.
I'm interested.
I don't know where they're going to face resistance. They played the Commanders twice.
That's the game I'm supposed
in a couple weeks. So
in Buffalo.
Until I see them face resistance again, it's to be in question. And he may be right. I don't mind that he said it. I didn't care that he said it after this game.
Well,
like
can I also say something? Yes, like Jalen, you are correct. No one has forgotten where you came from. But that is a knife that cuts in both directions. Everyone remembers what a great leader, what a great man you have been, what a great teammate.
Mm-hmm.
They also all remember why you had to leave Alabama and what happened. And that fact that the questions surrounding your ability to be a consistent, all-over-the-field passer has followed you at multiple levels of football, which is, when we say the Eagles' issues, that's one of the leading candidates this year is the tumult in the passing game. And so him invoking that, to me, was really interesting because, yes, and I remember being on this show saying when he didn't transfer from Alabama, how courageous is an awkward word to use, but how courageous I thought it was and how mature I thought it was and what a great teammate he was, all those things. But also, in that moment, everyone was like, good call in benching him, though, for Tua because you needed to win that game and because Tua was the better passer. And when he went in the second round, nobody batted an eye, despite his great year at Oklahoma, because people were like, questions about him as a passer. So the Eagles' issues to me are, I know they seem like it's about emotion and a funk and all of these things. That is window dressing to, if we don't have a consistent running game, our limitations as a passing team really become glaring.
Yeah. How's Tua doing? I was just told today that Tua is a backup quarterback. How's Tua's career been unfolding? How many playoff wins does Tua have? How many big game performances does Tua have? And I love Tua as a person. I don't know him. This ain't anti-Tua. I respect Tua. I respect Tua to the highest degree. But like really, and this whole thing that what's holding the Eagles back again, it's the comments just get so dumb. Jalen Hurts in some of the biggest games has not had a consistent run game and yet has played unbelievable in those games. Literally won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts throughout the course of this entire season has not had a good run game, and yet for a long time had this team in as the #1 seed where Jalen Hurts was a top quarterback in the NFL with a top touchdown to interception ratio, a top completion percentage, a top passer rating, top with a bottom of the NFL run game, a negative run game, second in the NFL in percent of runs leading to negative yards, with receivers that are simply not getting open, not winning their one-on-ones. And Jalen Hurts isn't turning the ball over. He's scoring touchdowns, doing everything he can, and then he goes through a rough patch where it's like, see, Jalen Hurts isn't that good? And it's like, what? Like, huh? And then you hear people that know football way better than me, way better than you, way better than a lot of people be like, the play calling is limited, the play calling is predictable. And we can say, but it's because Jalen Hurts can't throw in the middle. Again, when he had competent coaching, when he had Kel Moore, when he had Shane Sin, none of those problems were highlighted. And people still, and there's this guy who's the biggest troll I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's pretty obnoxious. But he's like, oh, the Eagles are the bottom of the NFL passing game. And no, they didn't. They didn't have a high volume passing game, but their passing game was insanely efficient. They just didn't need to rely on it. That's a problem. You're ranking a passing game based off of total number of touchdowns or total number of passing yards. They didn't need to rely on it. But when they did, it was top in the NFL through efficiency. The efficiency was through the roof, was absolutely through the roof. That's why Jalen Hurts' touchdown-interception ratio was amazing. His completion percentage amazing. His passer rating amazing. I don't know what to tell you. Is Jalen Hurts as amazing of a passer as a Matthew Stafford? No. No, he is not. Find me all the quarterbacks that are. Let me know. Tua is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. Why does Tua have 1 million interceptions then? You tell me. You tell me. We just say things for the sake of saying them. Well, he's too small. He can't see. What about Baker Mayfield? What about the other quarterbacks that we just want to constantly sing the praises of? It's just bizarre. And to answer this question head on, I do not believe the Eagles' issues are behind them. Not at all. I was really impressed with how they played and the quality of play, and you can say, oh, and Greg, well, they faced no resistance. Greg clearly did not watch that game because it's not about the resistance. Nothing to do with that. It was the play calling. It was the approach. It was the game management, the game planning, the what they were looking to do. They actually made changes. Their approach was actually fundamentally different. Greg Olsen talked about it the entire game. He talked about it the entire game where Jalen was throwing him using his legs, etc., etc., etc. And that's why I said when I first broke down that game, if they won 31-0 and AJ got like a target and Devontae got a target and Saquon rushed for 180 and 2 touchdowns and we had some tush-push touchdowns and there was a whole bunch of turnovers in short field, then I would say, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This doesn't really mean anything to me. But it was the play calling, the game management, the game planning that I like significantly better. And even against that Chargers game, when I showed you the Gay Cole breakdowns and the Dan Rowski breakdowns, they were like, I really like what I'm seeing here. There's a lot to build off of this. And also referenced the Kurt Warner breakdowns as well. It's like now you have 2 games where even though the one game against Chargers certainly didn't work out for them, but now you have 2 games where it's like, all right, they actually have done things differently. That's positive. And then since everyone wants to compare the 2023 to 2025, the supernatural funk, I mean, the Eagles were losing against some of the worst quarterbacks that, nobody will even remember their names again. They were losing against terrible teams, terrible quarterbacks. And you were just like, oh, this is not good. And Jalen Hurts had a terrible game against at least statistically against the Chargers, and obviously on a 3-game skid, not playing his best football. And at the minimum, even if we don't want to put all the blame on Jayen for that game, but obviously it's still a big part of it. Statistically, probably the worst game he's ever had of his career. And then he bounced back with a game that he had that was genuinely flawless. And I thought the play calling was awesome. And I thought the execution was awesome. That's got to count for something, no matter who you're playing. Now, I agree, that's why I said believe the Eagles' issues are behind them. No, Kevin Patullo has not earned any type of trust from me. This Eagles offense has not earned any trust from me. At least the way how it is right now. But to keep just trying to go back, because that That's what they keep trying to do, is just, I don't trust them because I don't trust Jalen. Like, the hyper focus is still on Jalen Hurts. And you know what's really funny, and I showed you this clip when Colin was like, Baker Mayfield didn't get worse. It was just that Liam Cohen lost left. And then he made similar comments earlier in the season about Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, and he was like, that's the problem when you lose Ben Johnson. This team didn't get worse. You lost Ben Johnson. And then Dan Campbell took over play calling. Now he's like Dan Campbell. He's really been able to upgrade this offense now that he's taken over play calling. And Colin's like, there are more yards per pass and more touchdown, more points and blah, blah. And it's like, but then Jalen Hurts never gets that level of the conversation. Has anyone brought up Kevin Patullo at the table here? Like the coaching, like none of that, none of it. It's just the problems with Jalen Hurts. And hey, it cuts both ways, you know, yeah, they know where you came from, but blah, 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 blah. And it's like really they said Patrick Mahomes was too small and you know, was too off script. You remember where he came from. It cuts both ways. Well, now Mahomes got injured because he's too mobile. He scrambles too much. Now he blew out his ACL, cuts both ways. Josh Allen's too reckless. Joe Burrow's too injury prone. Lamar Jackson can't pass. I mean, I don't know whose pass doesn't have some interesting comments about them. Well, we can go on and on and on with that. We can go down the list of every single quarterback. So it's just weird that we only want to single it out when discussing Jalen Hurts. Like, that's the weird thing. That's the weird thing. Hashtag Tanner McKee. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you believe their issues are behind them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as the visibility helps. I forget what I was about to say. Thank you so much. See you next time.